we're live, and welcome everybody, and good evening, afternoon, or morning, I guess, depending on what part of the world you're joining us. We're here live in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. My name is Craig Peliquin, and my guest today is the author of the cryptocurrency mining Bible, The Truth is Good Enough, and my very good personal friend, Dennis Wilson. Hey, Dennis, how's it going?
Hey, man, I'm doing really good. That's me. I'm real. I know in crypto almost nothing is, but the book actually is me. Just saying.
So welcome everybody. It's great to have. We have some people here live in Vancouver that can make it from our meetup, and everybody else live online. Welcome. The rules, Dennis. We have rules.
Well, because Cryptman resells through a lot of different companies, we ask that when we open up the chat later on for questions, you don't mention your company, you don't put your referral link. If you do, you'll immediately be banned, excluded, and never welcome back. Okay, so please just respect that this is a safe place for everyone to come and learn about crypto and learn about mining, and in the future learn about other topics other than mining. But yeah, just please be respectful that it's not a place to try to prospect or try to get people's numbers and names and all of that, because it just isn't that way. So that's the primary rule.
There you go.
And we will open it up for questions at the end of the presentation, because we're hoping we'll do a good enough job that there'll be no questions left.
There'll be no questions left. So, and if it does look like at times that we're reading off a script, we are.
Yeah, so compliance has become a fairly large thing, not so much in Canada, but in the US. So we're trying to use very legally compliant words for cryptocurrency cloud mining server rentals. And as a result of the compliant words, they're not fully lodged in our head because we want to speak the way we were before the new rules came down. And that will not be possible if we're trying to do it from our head. So,
all right. So, Dennis, why don't you tell everybody what is cryptocurrency cloud mining?
All right. So here we go. Everybody ready? The idea of mining cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is you essentially take a very specialized piece of equipment and plug it into the wall. So much like when you mine for gold, you go buy a specialized piece of equipment and dig dirt and wash it. We plug a specialized server computer thing into the wall, configure a bunch of software, try to figure out what we're supposed to mine and how much we're supposed to mine of it. And the sole purpose of that mining is actually to get the blockchain reward. So we do mining for the blockchain reward.
So tell everybody then, Dennis, what is the blockchain reward? So let's make sure we have the definitions here.
So in the case of Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency with peer-to-peer payment is made, due to the decentralized nature of the blockchain, there's a very complex calculation that has to be solved in order to verify a group of transactions, which are put together into a block, are valid. So this is the whole cryptographic nature. This complex calculation is the cryptography, so to speak, within the blockchain.
That does sound really complicated, so I do appreciate the explanation. It's nice. But what does this have to do with the blockchain reward?
Okay, Craig, bear with me for a sec. I'm just about there. So the calculation automatically gets more difficult as more people try to solve it. So the more mining machines are plugged in, the more mining servers are plugged in, the harder it gets. And as a result, it starts to cost money to mine. So the creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, saw it was necessary to provide an incentive for people to run these mining machines, because why am I going to use my electricity to support the blockchain if there's nothing in it for me?
Okay.
And what he came up with was the blockchain reward.
Makes sense. Now, how much is this blockchain reward that we're actually mining for?
Well, it started at 25 Bitcoins. So you could imagine
25 of these.
Yeah. If you were involved way back when in the beginning and you won the mining reward, which you could have done from your laptop computer at that time, the blockchain reward would have been 25 Bitcoins. And if you just put them in your wallet and sat there with them, imagine where you'd look today, even with the crappy Bitcoin price today.
Crappy Bitcoin price, what, 10,000
Yeah,
US?
it's not 20,000 anymore. People are whining. It's okay. Really fun. So now it's been programmed to go to zero over time as all 21 million Bitcoins are issued.
All right, so make it easy. How much is the reward today?
12.5 Bitcoins. And it's expected to stay there until about June of 2020.
Okay, so how much is that US dollars? Because, I mean, let's make it easy for everybody here.
So in order not to date this video, let me explain how you can find out. Google the current Bitcoin price and multiply by 12.5.
Well, that's pretty simple. Okay. Though if you just Google it, or you're sitting there and you know what the price is, you know it's a pretty big number.
Yeah, it's a pretty big number.
It's a pretty big number. That's why we do mining.
to get Bitcoin.
Okay, got it. So you said this takes a specialized computer equipment. Can I do this by myself?
Well, for the smaller alternative cryptocurrencies, which you may have heard to being referred to as altcoins, absolutely. You're still going to need some pretty specialized and expensive computer parts, GPUs, and figuring out how to get tons of YouTube videos. Probably cost you anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 to build a machine that's worth using.
And we've done that.
Oh, so. Yeah. It's going to be in version 2 of the book. It's quite the adventure.
And we're a little techie, but yeah. it took some fun of putting all these things together. And the first time was really funny because we had it all put together, the first rig, and we couldn't figure out how to turn it on.
The motherboard was glowing and it was looking good. And I'm like, okay, so what's going on? Because, of course, when you buy a computer, there's an on-off switch. When you buy a motherboard, there isn't. There's a bunch of pins that stick out of it. So then I think I spent 4 days in this dilemma. I bought another CPU. I bought another motherboard. I bought some more graphics cards. Basically, I bought enough to build another machine thinking the parts were bad. And then somewhere obscurely deep down in Google at probably 3 o'clock in the morning, someone said, oh, just take a screwdriver and scrape it along those pins and it'll short them out and it'll turn your motherboard on. I'm like, what? I'm like, what if it blows up? I'm like, I don't like electricity. So I grab my little screwdriver and I'm like, it's like, I'm like, wow, yeah. So that every time from then I had to turn it back on. So finally I just spent $1.12 or something and I bought an on-off switch and I plugged it in. Now I can turn it in.
Yeah, but it was pretty funny. I mean, the learning curve, you wouldn't even think about it. Because, I mean, that was about $7,000 worth of equipment.
I'm on the 20th floor of this building and it almost went for a fly.
So that's Bitcoin. What about our major coins like Bitcoin or Litecoin? Can you do the same thing? Is that the same kind of miners?
It can be, but your chances of winning any kind of return would be limited. So the equation for these coins becomes so complicated, you need what's called an ASIC mining machine. So that's a custom designed machine specific to a algorithm.
Okay, so I want one of these. Where do I get one?
Wish it were that simple. Your average ASIC machine needs to be ordered and paid for as many as 3 months in advance at a price of a couple of thousand, close to about $3,000 a piece now US. And even if you're lucky enough to find one, they do produce about 60 decibels of noise and produce as much as 1,300 watts of heat each.
Okay, so how much is 60 decibels of noise and how much is 1,300 watts of heat?
Well, Craig, it's as loud as your TV at the volume of 30, and it's enough heat to heat a small apartment in the Canadian winter. So imagine if you had two like I did in my 1,100 square foot place. My wife's like, it's a little chilly tonight. Oh, hang on. I'd grab the hose out of the window, exporting all the hot air, stick it into the living room, wait 5 minutes. We're at 36 degrees, put it back outside.
So it sounds like these machines then would take up a lot of electricity.
Yes, you're not kidding. A Bitcoin mining machine takes so much electricity that you can't plug anything else into the same circuit that you plug it into or you'll pop your breaker. That's if you have a, standard 15 amp breaker. It uses every bit that it has. Hairdryer on my mining machine. My housekeeper comes in, she plugs the vacuum into the wrong socket, boom, boom, everything turned off. It was, thank gosh we have a data center now.
So really then, this isn't as simple as it sounds. It's costly, it's inconvenient, it's time consuming.
Yep. And it gets worse. One of these machines on its own could literally take years to win the reward. Or if you're unlucky, you could actually have one of these plugged in forever and never win the reward. So as a result, you need to join a mining pool to combine your machine with others to earn a small part of the reward. And as with everything in crypto, somebody takes a little fee for that privilege.
There's got to be a better way.
Well, that's where cryptocurrency cloud mining server rentals come in. Boy, I said that good and fast. I'm getting used to that official terminology.
So we can just rent one. We don't have to have the hassles, but we still get the blockchain reward?
Just about. As it is cloud mining, you're not renting a physical server, but much more like Amazon Cloud, you're renting a virtual slice of our mining equipment.
Okay, you need to explain to me, what is the cloud? Everybody talks about it. It's in the cloud. It's in the cloud. I don't see anything up there in the clouds. What's the cloud?
Simplest explanation of the cloud is it's a server or computer connected to the internet that isn't yours, that you rent the capacity of.
Okay. And Amazon's cloud has to be more than a couple of computers, though, right?
Yeah, just a couple. Hundreds of thousands. You're absolutely right. And it gets even more interesting. Before the cloud, we could rent a rack in a data center and put in many servers that looked like big pizza boxes. So you'd sort of see this big cabinet and there'd be a bunch of these servers like this in it. Right? Okay. One on top of the other. And the problem was each server did its own thing. Okay. So if a server died, everything on it was lost if it wasn't backed up. This is how things started. Yet the rest of the servers would have been fine. So you might have lost your mail, kept your web, kept your database.
Okay, what's that got to do with cloud mining?
Just about there. If we understand how the Amazon cloud works and why it's amazing, cloud mining will make more sense.
Okay.
So Amazon changed the game. Instead of renting an actual physical server, you simply rented a vertical slice through all those pizza boxes, is the easiest way to explain it.
Okay.
And you can size it to whatever's appropriate to your needs. And then if you need more, you reboot, 3 minutes later, it comes back twice as big. So if one server in the rack fails, your slice isn't affected because of the built-in redundancy of that Amazon cloud. So Cryptman does the same thing, except our equipment is all specifically designed to mine various cryptocurrencies. So to answer your question, there's a better way. And that better way is to rent a cloud mining server from Cryptman.com.
So does that mean I have to rent the whole server, the whole mining rig?
No, just like Amazon, you can rent virtual mining servers of various sizes to meet your goals.
Okay. But do I still have to learn how to use the software, find the mining pools, learn where to direct my rented server, and all this other complicated stuff that you were talking about just a few minutes ago?
Well, you're happy to know that we offer dynamically managed cloud mining rentals using proprietary software to maximize the amount of cryptocurrency you can mine, then convert it to Bitcoin that's made available to you.
So you mean I don't have to do anything with my cloud mining rental? I just passively get coins deposited into my wallet?
Not quite, Craig.
Oh, well, I tried. Would have been nice.
As we're amalgamated cloud mining, we do mine multiple cryptographic algorithms, and you will once a week need to tell the system what coin or token you want to mine with each algorithm.
So hang on, this is going over my head a little bit, Dennis. What is a cryptographic algorithm?
Okay, so Bitcoin mines with something called the SHA-256 algorithm. Litecoin mines with an algorithm called Script. Siacoin mines with Blake2B. And there's many other coins with many other algorithms. As a result, we're going to give you options each week for each algorithm we mine. So we might give you 3 coins to pick from that mines with SHA-256. We might give you 3 with Blake2, well, only 1 because right now there's only 1, or one of 5 for Script. So you're going to have to do that, and that isn't because we want to do this to you. This is 100% about compliance. There's been a lot of movement in the US that mining contracts can be considered securities because of the passive income. So unless we sort of make you behave and control it like you do an Amazon cloud server, there could be some possibilities of it not being ideal for our company. So
this basically then is allowing the members to influence the overall mining pool percentage.
That's correct.
So now I've been hearing a lot about altcoin mining being profitable. So do you mine any altcoins right now? And if so, what algorithm, if any, do you use at Cryptman?
We do mine altcoins. They're what we call GPU miners, and we do that in 2 different ways. First, we mine major GPU coins like, I say Ethereum, but honestly, I think I've mined Ethereum for about an hour and just got so bored I gave up. Zcash, Zclassic are all mined and then converted to go into daily totals. And then the second part of our altcoin mining is we take 10% of our GPU hash power and we mine speculative coins. So we mine recent ICOs, just things that may never be anything, but may pop 100 times.
Okay. So a speculative coin is a coin that has little or no value today, but could have significant value in the future. And I guess these would be easy to mine if they have no value today.
And that's why GPU miners are good at it. And we have some substantial GPU miners, so we can go in and scoop up a whole bunch of them fairly quickly and then just leave them sit until they pop.
Right. So when it pops, then you add them to the daily deposits in Bitcoin?
You'll see our daily deposits will sort of, as per normal, go down a bit unless Bitcoin's going up, blah, 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 blah. But then all of a sudden you'll see this great big spike. And that'll be because we had an event where something hit 100 times what we got it for. So our speculative are for the big pop. We don't bother with 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. We just wait for it to pop.
Okay, so now we've done all this stuff for compliance purposes, and I know you got to say this stuff. Bottom line, how much Bitcoin can I mine every day with a Cryptman mining server rental? That's what these people want to know.
You're going to hate this answer.
Of course I am.
So due to the difficulty factor of the cryptocurrency equation that we have to solve to earn the blockchain reward, the fluctuation in cryptocurrency prices, which as we've seen over the last 2 months have been rather fun if you're a day trader, completely horrifying if you bought at 17,000. And the different algorithms we mine, there's no real number that we could give you today that means anything. It'll mean something today and it's useless for tomorrow moving forward.
Okay, sounds a little evasive though, Dennis. I mean, can't tell me anything?
I completely agree, and it gets worse.
Okay.
With current security laws worldwide, if we were to give a number, it could be deemed as providing financial advice, and we would actually be breaking the law. And because we have amalgamated mining and percentages of coins mined are controlled by the mining rental owners, there's also no simple way for me to determine that other than what's happened in the past.
So if I wanted to get an idea of what mining could provide daily, weekly, monthly, is there a way I could like research like one of the things like Bitmain's Antminer T9 or Hyperbit's L21 miner?
Yeah, so you could literally go out and research through things like whattomine.com, which will link you to calculators for what a mining machine can do. And that'll get you an idea of what, if you owned your own Antminer and you were paying your electricity, it's going to give you an idea of what an Antminer can make. And that'll get you a number. It's not going to be our number because we're much more complicated, but at least you'll start to get some sense of what kind of things are possible. And it won't surprise you that when Bitcoin's $6,800, you don't make much. And when it's $20,000, you do.
Okay. So this is basically an estimate. There's so many different factors that are going in.
You know what? The real easiest answer is, however you found out about us, if you go talk to the person who introduced you and he has a live mining server rental going, he's allowed to tell you, just like you're allowed to tell your people, your specific friends, what you earned, but you can never get in front of a group of people that are not your direct friends and do it, or you also have now broken securities laws by giving financial advice. So,
and the back office of Cryptmin
the back office of Cryptmin shows everything, so it's easy to do. And we're going to give you some generalities to sort of understand where things go so that you can get a comfort level, but we won't get into it specifically. This is how much every day you're going to earn.
Okay, so we talked about what they can earn by renting this equipment from Cryptmin.
Yes.
What's in it for Cryptmin?
Oh, we get to buy great big fans and racks and LAN cables. And we get to panic every time the fan turns off, and we get to freak out every time.
But what's in it on the good side?
Oh, the good side.
Not the bad side. My fingers are getting really tired plugging in these machines at times. Yes.
Well, great question. And when we rent you a cloud mining server with the mining power of your choice for 1,000 days, we're going to charge you a daily maintenance fee taken in fiat currency.
What does fiat currency mean?
It means your Canadian dollars or US dollars. We do it in US dollars.
Okay.
And we're going to convert and take that from your daily coin deposit to cover our cost of power, maintenance, labor, and profit. So again, just like if you owned your own machine, you're going to have to spend your time on it. You're going to have to pay your electricity bill on it. And unfortunately, in British Columbia, BC Hydro does not take Bitcoin yet. So you would have to actually dig out your real money to pay them, no matter what the price of Bitcoin was. So same sort of thing. So your original server rental price covers the cost to procure the miners, power cords, power supplies, LAN cables, pay shipping, brokerage, taxes, and duties. We also pay the rent, hire the staff, provision the power and cooling, set up the equipment, write the software, and pay to replace failed machines and parts. So this is your business. We just procure, set up, and assist you in the running of it.
Wow. That's a lot of stuff in it for you. So if I research on the internet and I find many stories that claim that cloud mining server rentals don't make any money. So how do you reply to those comments?
Well, to be honest, how I reply to those services, I said, you know what? You must be absolutely right. You might want to read my book, see if it changes your mind, but you're probably right and it's not for you. And that's because, quite honestly, if someone has done so little research and knows so little that they come at it from that negative point of view, I'll be honest, I don't even try to convince someone. I'm like, okay, great, so don't buy one. Because that'll make it easier for me to sell to the guy who does want one, because I'm not selling to a guy that's just going to complain and misunderstand. Anyways, but if we go back to the actual answer, the answer is simple. It totally depends on when you ask the question. If you ask the question when Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in general are at an all-time low, you'd be 100% correct, man. They do not look good on paper. Like right now. Well, right now is a little bit better. We're back up to 10.5 or something last time I checked. Although that was a couple hours ago, so we might be back to 9,600. I don't know. Maybe we're at 11. Anyone know what we're currently at?
We can find out. We have the technology.
But I can tell you at 6,900, it was grim. At 10,005, it's okay, right?
Okay, that makes sense. All right. So I mean, what are we at right now? I guess
so instead, and of course, then if you ask the question when it is at 17,900, you'd be absolutely incorrect, and I'd be still keeping it a secret because I'd want to buy more for me instead of let you have some.
So yeah, we're about 10,350.
Okay.
There you go.
So the reality is, like the title of my book, the truth is good enough. Your cloud mining server rental lasts for 1,000 days. There's going to be ups and downs along the way. And it's funny, nobody ever complains when they're making 3 or 4 times what they were 2 months ago, but they all freak out when they're making a quarter of what they used to. It's going to do this because why? Bitcoin does this. If Bitcoin would stop doing this, mining server rentals would stay more consistent. That's what it is. We believe that cloud mining server rental is a great way to begin your involvement in cryptocurrencies.
Okay. Now, I've read on the internet many people say instead of renting a cloud mining server, I'd be better off buying Bitcoin and holding.
Yeah, and the negative me would say, yes, you're absolutely right, because I'm so tired of this argument. However, you look at the historical statistics, that's actually not usually the case. And there's an even more important reason that mining server rentals are a better way to get started.
Well, share what that reason would be then, Mr. Wilson.
So let's examine what happens when Bitcoin crashes like it did in January of 2018 and many other times in January of previous years, but somehow people think this year it shouldn't have happened. Okay, so if you bought with the idea of hodling, this is the weird word that is used for people that buy and never sell. Apparently it was a typo, and then you said it's hold on for dear life. And anyway, somehow it's become this word that is misspelled, and Word does not know how to fix it correctly, but it just means buying and holding. And the big question you have to ask yourself, if you bought it 17,900, as it went down through 14,000, would you have had the guts to hold it? And I can tell you most new investors in Bitcoin would have freaked out and sold it. This is one of the biggest advantages.
I see your point, Dennis. I mean, it goes from 17 to 15 to 14, then it went down to 10, then it went below 10, and it got as low as 6,000.
Oh,
now, guys, if you and I were having a contest, how low would it go? Because we had buy orders in
That's right.
to buy a whole bunch if it went down that
I dollar average down an awful lot. I appreciate that everybody panicked and sold out. Thank you. I didn't panic and bought in, and then it came back to $10,000. So we do appreciate the people who panicked and sold out.
There you go. Now, how is mining different?
Well, I mean, what I like about mining is it's 1,000 days. So even if you panicked and you sold everything you had made in your first 300 days and you were wrong, then the next day you'll have a little bit more, and the day after that you have a little bit more, and in the 300 days you'll be back in a position where you're feeling pretty good about it. So it's harder to panic out, right? It's harder to panic out. So I think it's more stable.
Now, how does this compare to someone that's experienced enough to trade in crypto? Would cloud mining still make sense for them?
I guess it depends, again, on a lot of factors. Cloud mining is not always the most exciting, and it's not always the most profitable way to make money in crypto. It's consistently boring, and that's why I love it so much. So buying and operating your own mining rigs is going to earn you more than buying mining rental from us, because we have to make a profit. Sorry, guys, we're not a charity. We're in business to make money. So we make our profit. We have to pay electricity bills. So you're going to make more if you don't buy from us and you buy a machine and plug it into the wall. But you're also going to have all those hassles and problems associated with it. Trading takes a high level of skill and comes with a very, very high level of risk. But I believe if you are a educated trader, not a guy who bought 3 times as it was going up to 20,000 and said he's a Bitcoin mastermind, but actually knows how to trade in an up market and a down market, I believe you could make a lot more than cloud mining ever would make you.
Okay.
But it can also lose you a lot more than cloud mining can ever lose you.
And as you said before, buying and holding is completely dependent on your ability to hold no matter what happens.
I'm a serious Bitcoin believer, and as it got down to 6,900, I was even starting to go, man, do I keep buying in? Maybe I stop buying. And I literally managed to buy 1 full Bitcoin at about $200 over the lowest it got. So I did good.
So, I mean, if you think your belief about Bitcoin is the same as your belief in, like, say, real estate, that it's always going to go up over time,
then it makes sense to have some, anybody that's out there deploying capital to do fun things, it's usually a good idea to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. However, again, it's usually the entry. Mining's often the entry method. It's what gets people tweaked, and all of a sudden they've got a little tiny bit, and they go put it into Siacoin, and they do this, and they get all excited about it, and then they start putting money into currencies.
It's a nice, easy entryway into it. But let's deal with the elephant in the room, Dennis. There's a lot of people that have come on to our webinar right now that are watching this, and many of our audience right now already have a Cryptmin mining server rental with us. And some of them are fearful that their mining server rental is not a worthwhile service based upon the current daily share of Bitcoin being so low. Some think that if you do the math, it proves that they will not be able to get ahead within the 1,000 days. So what I want to know, Dennis, how can you break this down for everybody here so they can understand how this works? Because are they right? Are they wrong? How do they do the math?
Well, I mean, before I get into what I have in front of me, let's just take a look at what happened with the stock market. How happy is somebody who just made their $1,000 deposit into their stock account at the end of January? How are they feeling right now? Probably not so good. So in mining, it can be the same. It's a little tricky to break it down without getting into investment and finance. So let's keep in mind that what I'm about to share with you are in no way meant to be what you can expect, okay? But rather a way to illustrate to you just how a low Bitcoin price can affect the daily coin transfer due to the fiat currency cost of maintenance, okay? Because this is the key to understanding why when it looks really, really bad today, it's a 1,000-day contract. So let's try to get this in a way that people go, oh, I get it. Because this is really the key to why you should love mining versus get worried about it. So now I'm going to base the numbers on actual coin share transferred on February 24th, 2018, when Bitcoin was only $9,682.
Okay, so for the viewers, I'm going to share the screen with them.
Okay.
I think it's going to be.
Yeah, because there's going to be a bunch of numbers flying out now. So and again, these are all examples. This is what could happen. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So first, let's compare some trends. So last year at the same time, from now till December, here's what we saw. We saw Bitcoin go from $1,175 to $19,783. That was fun.
That was fun.
And that was not something that anybody who owned a mining contract in February believed. And every single person who owned a mining contract in February was complaining about the fact that it didn't make any money.
Okay.
And of course, they were very, very silent as their mining portion doubled and tripled and quadrupled and quintupled as the run-up happened. Didn't complain at all. Now, if we use the same ratio for this year, we would expect that on February 21st, Bitcoin was $9,682. So if the same thing as last year happened this year, we'd be at $162,901. I don't personally believe that. Some people do. It's irrelevant. It's an illustration to show you what it means. So we're not trying to forecast or suggest this is going to happen. We're just trying to give you the truth about mining based upon what did happen this year and what is technically possible for this year. So we hear it all the time, how trading is the best way, or ICOs are the most profitable. We just want to arm you with the information that allows you to evaluate mining from a point of reality, not panic and fear, not FUD. We find it interesting that traders and ICOs promise that everything's going to go up, 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 up. That's why you should trade and you should buy ICOs and it's going to go up, 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 up. So there's nothing to worry about. Yet then they come to mining and they try to discredit it because they pick the worst time of year and the return of what they got that day, multiply 1,000 to show how useless mining is. If that were true, then everything they're talking about would also be useless because it also went down. Unfair comparison and potentially very costly to the person who buys into that way of thinking. So if you had purchased a 1.25 terahash per second mining server rental from Cryptmin, here's some important numbers to consider. If Bitcoin was 6,000, your share of Bitcoin would be about 0.000114664 or 68 cents for the day gross. You would then pay a maintenance fee of 50 cents in fiat currency, which would equal about 0.000833333 Bitcoin, leaving you with only 0.0003131 or about 19 cents for the day. It would take 2,454 days to get enough Bitcoin equal to what you paid for the 1,000-day server rental. That would be bad, right? So, summary, Bitcoin, 6,000. Your daily share, 68 cents. Your maintenance, 50 cents. And your net transfer, 19 cents. 2,454 days. That would be a bad investment. Absolutely, if it were an investment. So now what happens if Bitcoin simply goes to 10,000, which is only a 67% increase in Bitcoin, right? Your daily share is exactly the same because you're being paid in Bitcoin, okay? But now that's worth $1.15. Your fiat maintenance is still 50 cents, which is now only 0.00005 Bitcoin. So the net transfer to you of 0.00006464 are about 64 cents, which is a 337% increase. So Bitcoin rises a measly 67%. Your portion increases 337%, and suddenly time to recovery is 713 days.
So now you're profitable.
You will make money on it. Yes. Mm-hmm. So what if Bitcoin went stupid crazy and went to 20,000? Oh, hang on, I almost did that last. A 333% increase over the $6,000-ish bottom we saw this year. Guess what? Your gross daily share, it's exactly the same Bitcoin, but now it's worth $2.29. Your fiat maintenance is exactly the same fiat, but now that's only half as much as the last slide, 0.000025 Bitcoin, which means you were transferred 0.00008964 Bitcoin, or about $1.79. A 942% increase in your mining return. But Bitcoin only went up 333%. Okay, time to recover now 257 days.
Got it.
And then we go crazy. So maybe you're a believer that Bitcoin's going to go to $150,000. Just for fun, it, by the same math as last year, could be 167. So we're cutting her down a little bit. Look at that. Holy cow. Holy smokes. Exactly the same. 0.00011,464 Bitcoin. Problem is now that's for $17.20. Your fiat maintenance, same 50 cents. And now that's only 0.0000333 Bitcoin. So the net transfer is about $16.96. Time to recovery, 28 days.
So all these examples show the exact, Cryptman takes the exact same amount every day, no matter what the Bitcoin value is.
I mean, we'd love to take more from you, but that would be unfair, we think.
So you got kind of a summary here, so you can just see this. Once again, this is not meant to,
this is meant to help you understand how the fiat currency maintenance dramatically affects the price as Bitcoin falls lower and lower. Okay, that's all it's meant to illustrate here. So in other words, if you're a believer, right, if you're involved in one of our resellers and you're loving the whole crypto space because you believe it's going up, 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 then you should be super excited about mining, because this is what happens when it goes up. I mean, it's about as bad as it can be right now. Straight up. And it's already way better than it was 14 days ago. You got to look at it as 1,000 days. You can't sort of say, oh, but based upon today. That would be unfair, because based upon, what was it, about November of last year, I mean, the results were just insane. And we're saying, man, we should just mine for ourselves. We shouldn't resell server rentals because the returns are so huge. So it's going to go up and down.
So they're not linear. A simple 67% increase in the Bitcoin price led to a 337% larger portion of Bitcoin that was deposited into your account.
Right.
So when people are saying, well, Bitcoin's got to go up so much for us to see profitability, they're not taking into consideration that the fiat currency is fixed.
What I hear over and over and over in support tickets are, well, Bitcoin's at $10,000 and I made whatever number they give. So that means when it's at $20,000, I'm only going to make twice as much. As you can see, not the case. You really want it to. I want it to go to $20,000. I'm invested heavily in mining, in addition to the fact that we resell mining server rentals. So we definitely prefer Bitcoin at $20,000 or $30,000.
So now that we all understand this, doesn't it make sense to wait until Bitcoin goes up in value before buying a mining server rental, Dennis? I mean,
you're tricky, huh?
I am.
You are tricky.
Well, you're telling me I can more money when it's higher. Shouldn't I wait?
I tell you. And you know what? And very, very smart in the ideal world.
Well, don't we live in an ideal world?
No, I don't know about you, but I've been looking for it, but I can't find it anywhere. So the problem is this: there's an acute worldwide shortage of mining server rentals available. You go to any of the big guys, Genesis Mining, Hashing. Well, Hashing, I think Hashing 24 has some high priced. Anyways, lots of reasons if you look at their history. So it's very, very hard to get a Bitcoin mining contract, even if you want one. Even when Genesis does have them, the last time they had some was, I think, in November, and they didn't even start mining until March 1st or March 31st. So you paid for it and waited almost 5 months before it started mining. Since then, they have not again offered them. So yes, perfect. The problem is the minute it goes up and mining's getting talked about as how much money everybody's making with it, you're not going to be able to buy a mining contract anywhere. So in my opinion, you're better to get something when it's available, knowing that as things go up, you're there to benefit from it.
So now that we've learned about cloud mining, so where does somebody go to learn more about renting a cloud mining server if they haven't done so already?
So tonight's webinar, we have an awful lot of Cryptmin resellers. So we have multiple companies. So if you're with someone who's from one of our resellers, go to the person who introduced you to this webinar. They will have a link that you can go to purchase one through the respective reseller. If you're people that have found us through meetups or you're interested in getting involved, you can either talk to us about a link, or if you've been referred here again by somebody, they'll give you a link that you can get yourself to our shopping cart. We do only accept Bitcoin for mining contract purchases. And again, talk to your resellers because they usually have things in a better formats than we do just selling the raw mining contracts.
Got it.
Mining server rentals.
So we do want to be able to open up, because
Yes.
there might be some people with some questions. I mean, you may have some questions here live as well. So if you've got them, I'm now going to open up the chat box and enable it so that if
And
you
just
have
please
questions.
remember, don't mention your company. Don't slyly put in your referral link. We'll just kick you out. Ask your questions not related to your company. Don't ask us about anything that your reseller sells. Only ask us about mining, because we don't know anything about anything else resellers do.
All right. So I've now enabled that. And here live, is anybody?
Anyone have a question?
We answer them all.
Did I cover it pretty well? Does it feel less fearful now?
Yes.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know if anybody saw that out there. Dennis, do you have some of these real Bitcoins? No, the actual real, they're kind of rubber. Okay, no, but well, they're virtual, right? So that's why you see. We can actually do that, like
Camera tricks.
yeah, Well,
See,
being a
they
magician,
know what you do.
being a magician in my last life actually works out well. But you can order these through.
We will put on the website.
These are really awesome.
Great little token.
You want to see it? They're a nice little Bitcoin token. Yes. There we go. Making it visible for everybody to see. Yes, very nice. Good and heavy.
Yeah. Okay, we got questions.
Yeah, we got a few others. So, hi, Dan. That's great. What else we got there? Bobby says, thanks for the explanation. Brody, I'm already a member, but don't know what link to send someone who I am referring.
Talk to whoever you're a member of.
There you go. So you will have referral links.
Hey, Dan, do you want to come on and say hi and ask a question? Or
when will the webinar links be available to share? Pretty much immediately after this is done. If you use the same link for the live webinar, the replay has been enabled. So if anybody's in really bad time zones, you can just use the same link and watch it as if you're watching it in real time.
And then we'll also post-produce it and put proper slides in the background. And then that'll be provided to all of our resellers to put on their site, as well as available on the Cryptmin site. So we did this on purpose to try to cover everything off really nicely and get it out there so that people can get more interested in mining and lose some of their fear.
And Dan says he'd be happy to come on and chat. So Dan, if you are sitting at a computer with a, you want to come on live and talk?
Sure, come on, say hi.
So you need to have
questions.
You need to have mic, or at least, or on your computer, and you got to have a webcam.
So Dan is one of my good friends from long ago who became our client and is currently one of our biggest resellers. So I figured if we bring him on, he could probably ask some questions that are relevant based upon what his FAQs are coming into him, anything we didn't cover.
So Dan, you need to just go and click to request coming live, which I've opened up for you to click on that. Once you've requested to come live, I can allow you to come into the room, and you'll come at the bottom of the screen, and I can bring you in to say hello. Once again, you just need to have your computer going with webcam and microphone available. As soon as I see you do that, I will bring you on. If you can't do that, feel free to type and say hi and type questions and come on that way. So Dan says, let me chat it. That's great. So he's now asking to come in the room, and I can allow, and I'm inviting you in as a speaker. So you can now come in. I've accepted you to do that there, Dan. Technology is just so fantastic.
Don't say that until it works.
Well, we'll see.
You're going to jinx it.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Okay. And yes, who was that? Somebody said they wanted to get those tokens. Yes, they will be available. We'll definitely do that.
They should be up.
It asked me for a Dan. It said it asked me for a plugin. Just accept the plugin. Dan said, forget it. Here's the question. Okay. Technology's not Dan's friend today. All right. So Dan's going to ask us the question, then we're going to make sure that he does. We'll return him as an attendee so he doesn't have to worry about trying to get on live. Can we share the chart you posted?
The chart regarding the different in what happens with the different Bitcoin price?
Probably. That's what he's going to be asking about.
I would say no, you can't share that except in the context of the whole video. Because if you start sharing that, that would be easily misconstrued based upon the words as investment advice. So unless they're watching the whole video to see it, I would suggest that that would be a very bad idea for the person doing it, because they could end up in jail.
There you go.
That would be my thoughts. So
okay.
Remember, we say this to protect Cryptmin. We say this to protect our resellers. But what you need to realize, if you get up in front of a group and start doing that, or get on a webinar and do that, whatever the equivalent of your SEC or Securities Commission or whatever it is in your country sees you doing that, and you are liable for jail time. So as much as we get it, you're in a reseller situation, you're excited, you want to tell your friends, you want to convince them, the worst way to do that is on mining returns, because that would become investment advice, and that is 100% illegal to talk about, even you personally. So be very careful. Show the stuff your company provides in its entirety. Don't pull screen caps out and make up stories about what you want to say about it. It's dangerous for you personally. It's dangerous for your company you're with, and it's actually dangerous for Cryptmin. It could cause a complete loss of everybody's money. So please don't do it.
All right, so Patricia, yes, we'll have the tokens available on the website for you to be able to get. Roger, is there any way to show how the interface looks like to see how to use the system?
Yeah, we might do it might be worth us doing a webinar specifically for particular resellers. So talk to your reseller and ask if they would set up something where I can come on and we can actually go poke through that and do more of a specific to your company situation that can be recorded. We wouldn't do that in a live situation so much, because everybody's interfaces are a bit different depending on what reseller they are and how it works.
We also have to be careful that we start showing charts.
Well, that's the thing. We won't be doing, So
we're also then, it's not our own,
Specifically within the context of the resellers, we could do something like that, but we can't do that generic, because again, it can be inducing by previous numbers and such.
And then Marcelo says, do you have a link to a blockchain account that shows your mining transactions? Okay, yes, we do have all everything, your daily deposits in Bitcoin are shown in your back office.
The way it works is a little bit different. So we deposit into your account with us.
Yes.
And then you request them when you want them, because of course the blockchain fee is not cheap all the time. So you're allowed to store them up as much as you want until you're comfortable to pay that withdrawal fee that goes to your specific blockchain account. You want to do it every day, do it every day. You'll get eaten alive in Bitcoin fees, but we can't help you with that. That's the Bitcoin problem. So yes, you can withdraw them whenever you want based upon our minimum withdrawal amount. If that answers the question. I'm not completely sure that was what she was asking.
Now we'll go further on that. How safe is my Bitcoin in a Cryptmin account?
Yeah, we use cold storage, so we only keep enough for what our average daily payout is online in our actual coin payments account. So everything else we actually take right offline to cold storage. So your actual money is probably considerably safer with us than it would be with you. But again, you can withdraw it whenever you want. And we also highly recommend, as soon as you get over a couple $100, it's worth putting your first couple $100 into a Trezor or a Ledger and getting that stuff out of your exchange. The hacks on exchanges are not going to stop. It's too profitable. So don't leave big amounts of cryptocurrency on an exchange, no matter how big it is, because it is at risk.
Yeah, Dennis. Dan says Dennis told me his main job is to keep me out of jail.
It's so easy. I just got back from the Bitcoin Super Conference in Texas, and all of the compliance stuff. I mean, the SEC enforcement guy was there. And as he talks about what you're allowed to say and not to say as an American citizen, Canada's a bit better. But, oh my God, it's like, so what do you do? Bitcoin. No, what do you mean? What do you do with Bitcoin? I do Bitcoin. No, like, do you trade? Do you mind? I can't really say. Right? I mean, it's just like ICO is a swear word. It's a go to jail immediately. Just don't talk about doing an ICO. And if you're an American, don't even talk about buying one, because it's actually illegal for you to buy one, which is why now most people don't allow Americans to buy them. Move to Canada, it's still okay here. So yeah, it is hard to keep up with compliance, but fortunately I made a couple of friends. One is fairly high up in compliance in the US, and another one's here in Canada. I'm actually having dinner with her and a couple of other people on the 6th of March to formalize them doing a more serious review of our website and making it even harder for you all to understand.
Hey, Richard, English only, please. Sorry, we don't speak French. I have a French last name, but I don't speak it. Can't help you. Even though I kind of understand the question you're asking, I can't reply in French. Clint, is there a daily fiat? Is the daily fiat charge the same for a 0.25 terahash contract as a 1.25 terahash contract?
It's a percentage, right? So It's the same amount per terahash per second. So it's exactly the same as a ratio. It's not the same physical amount. It's based upon how many terahash per second you have in your mining server rental.
And Brian wants to know, can you show how much the returns would be for daily on a 1.25 terahash contract, or is it just based on the price of what Bitcoin price is?
So Brian, my response to you would be, once this webinar is recorded and goes live, please watch it.
There you go. Do you have a link showing mining results? Yes, we do. That's in your back office, and you will see.
And again, I'd say, please go and rewatch the webinar when it's done, because we just spent 45 minutes explaining things like this. We can't show it. You can't show it. You can only go look at it when it's live in your back office, or talk to someone who's directly related to you that has a chart. Anything beyond that puts you in legal risk and puts you in jail. And we don't want Dan to go to jail.
And then John wants to know, if I do mining from your system in virtual mode, it will not cost me extra money or electricity side. No, on electricity side. No idea what virtual mode means.
I think maybe what you're asking is, do you... Yeah, no, sorry, don't understand the question. Does anyone else have an idea what he's trying to say?
No, that's Richard's question translated.
Oh, I
got
see.
it. All right. So virtual mode. There is only one way to get everything is in virtual mode.
Yeah,
it's a cloud mining rental.
Yeah, so our maintenance fee covers your cost of all of that already. So yeah. I'm not quite sure if we're missing, maybe lost in translation. I'm not sure. If you got a Japanese question, I can field Japanese questions, but I don't French. I'm sorry.
So, and people will have questions, and you do have there is a support interface in Cryptment. Yep. There's also a support interface in any of your company's back offices, but Cryptment related ones.
Absolutely.
Bring them in. Now we do get a lot at Cryptment of reseller questions, and Cryptment customer service will say, go to your reseller.
We have lots of resellers, and we don't know the details of everything they do. We know that we resell mining through them, so we can answer any of your mining related questions. But unfortunately, I mean, if they sell doorknobs, I don't know one doorknob from the other, so I can't help. Sorry.
And thanks, Patricia. She enjoyed your Bible.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
The new version will be out virtually probably within a week. It's about twice as thick. It actually goes through me almost throwing all of the equipment out the window from the 20th floor while building GPU rigs. I think I even have a chapter that we're including on the setup of our very first data center and how many very, very smart people gave us bad advice. So everyone who has a living book. So again, remember, if you're with one of our resellers or even with us, there is no way to buy a mining server rental without buying our book. And that's because we believe the truth is good enough, which means you should be educated. So when you're taking a look and trying to figure out how many days before you've received all of your money back, please know that the book was included in your first mining server rental. So the mining server rental is not the amount you paid. It's minus $99 for the book. So, or depending on the discounts within your particular reseller. So when you're trying to look at your return, please be fair and do it on the mining server rental component of what you purchased from the reseller, not the whole amount you paid the reseller.
There you go. So hey, we got a lot through on this. We're coming up just about an hour, just under the hour mark right now. A lot of good questions from them. I guess we'll probably be doing this and having more and more webinars every Wednesday.
And full disclosure, I'd love to tell you exactly how much mining contracts made. I really, 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 truly would, but I can't. So it's not being evasive. It's just absolutely not acceptable to do. And it's a useless piece of information because yesterday and 3 days from now are not going to be anywhere near the same thing. So
yeah. And
I feel
it's full disclosure in the back office. I mean,
that's right.
You bought contracts. I've seen them from Genesis and from Hashing 24 and from a lot of
I bought everything. I bought from every scam out there. I didn't get half the stuff I bought. And I looked at all their interfaces. I don't know how many times I've sent Bitcoin off to a black hole.
Oh, you.
I send it out. Nothing comes back as promised. So we learned for you. We put it in a book. We decided to try to clean up our industry and just be out there doing the right thing by people and actually delivering on what we say.
Now Marcelo just asked the one question that everybody else that is on there wants to reply to. Marcelo says, "I don't know anyone. How can I join?" And everybody is dying to put their name on there right now. So don't connect through Cryptmin. We will connect you to a local person around your area that can help you.
Yes.
So that is the safest way to do it. So Marcelo, and like I said, everybody's going to go by me.
I can tell you right now, try the by me, put your link, watch how fast we kick you out. That's not what this is about, guys.
So remember, this is not a prospecting site. Marcelo did come through either somebody's, we'll figure out how
we'll figure out how you found us and find you a home.
Don't worry. We'll take care of you. Just go through Cryptmin support.
Go to Cryptmin support. Yeah, put in a ticket. We'll contact you and we'll make sure you get sorted out to the right person.
Absolutely. And
we take the referral networks and resellers very, very seriously. So.
And did I answer Clint's question? Yeah, thanks. Yes, we did answer Clint's question. That it's a percentage based on how big your contract is, what the fee is. It's the same percentage.
Same percentage. So it's not going to be the same fiat currency. It's going to be exactly the same ratio. Right?
Yeah.
It's 0.00004. I don't know.
Yeah, US dollars per. It's in
per mega hash percent. It's in the FAQs.
Yeah. It's there. So thanks, and Richard, you just got yourself in trouble. You won't be part of our stuff. You just don't learn, so you're gone. You're banned. Done. That was fast.
Can you erase it?
Banned. He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. Good. So, yeah, erase
just
it.
Like that.
People,
next time he tries to come in, he won't be able to. So
when we say this is not a place to prospect, it's not a place to prospect. There's a reason for it.
We're here to help everybody understand mining and future concepts, whatever we decide to talk about. We're here as a resource.
So,
all right. Well, I think because it's degrading to that, we should probably wrap it up and say thanks everybody for coming out. Hope that got you a little bit clearer on mining and how it works and why at times of low Bitcoin value, we don't need to panic and go from there.
All right, everybody, have yourselves a great thing. Thanks, Brian.
Incredible. Yeah.
There you go. Thanks,
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.